course, we'll keep an eye on that for you. Well, we switch from the ground to the air. Let's take a live look over Capitol Hill this morning, where the longest government shutdown in U.S. history is finally over. Last night, President Trump signed this spending bill, bringing much-needed relief to millions of Americans.
The measure restores federal funding through January 30th and guarantees back pay for workers who've gone unpaid now for weeks. It also reopens critical agencies and services. Now, even with the government shutdown ending, the Federal Aviation Administration is expected to continue limiting airline travel today as air traffic control towers are still coping with staff shortages.
Now, you may remember the FAA shrank flight capacity by 6% on Tuesday. And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the agency will lift that order only when safety data suggests the move is appropriate.
Now, 7 News Detroit reporter Brittany Toulis is joining us live from Detroit Metro Airport again. You've been there quite a few times recently, Brittany. And where do things stand this morning with the airline industry? And are travelers still feeling anxious about cancellations?
We're watching a lot of people still come up and check their flight status on the boards here, Alicia and Keenan. Now, the shutdown is over, but the airline industry is kind of in a holding pattern right now. The good news is airlines are no longer working towards reducing flights by 10%, but they are still cutting flights by about 6%. You can see that reflected here on the boards. They look almost identical to what they did yesterday, just over 30 cancellations here at DTW. But flyers are breathing a sigh of relief. The shutdown is over. Late Wednesday, President Trump signed the government funding bill ending the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Shortly after, the Department of Transportation and the FAA issued an emergency order holding the airline flight reductions at 6%. That number would have increased to 8% today if the shutdown continued. The Department of Transportation holding reductions until air traffic controller staffing levels are deemed safe, but call-outs have decreased. Air traffic controllers will receive back pay like other federal workers. The Great Lakes Air Traffic Controllers Association saying throughout the over 40-day shutdown, they've seen controllers take out loans and work second jobs on top of mandatory overtime and 6-day work weeks. Travelers say they're watching return trips, and they're also watching what happens next in Washington.
I'm feeling pretty good. Our flight's still on schedule. I'm glad it ended, but I'm not happy with the way it ended. We still have to take care of people that need insurance.
The CEO of Airlines for America did tell ABC that once the shutdown ends, he believes it'll take about a week for airline operations to go back to normal. So if you are flying out within the next week, make sure to check that flight status. But good news if you're traveling the Thanksgiving week, it's expected air travel will be back to normal by then. A little busier as normal, but back to normal by then. Alicia and Keenan. For now, live from DTW, I'm Brittany Toulis for 7 News Detroit this morning.
At least the process of returning to normal is underway. And of course, a lot of folks are breathing a sigh of relief ahead of the holiday travel.